Testing, testing. This is the Wednesday webinar on the Creative Smartphone Group. Welcome, hello. And it's the first time I'm doing it, so I'm excited. I've gone a bit ambitious. I've planned 3 webinars per week. I don't know how long it'll last, but I've imagined 3 different ways in which I can communicate with you. We can share together. You can come into the studio and above all, talk about your photographs. Let me just tell you how it's going to work. On the Monday, we have this. So Monday is Mystery Monday. It's mystery because there's a theme which will be revealed on Monday. And the theme will be a weekly theme. And you've got a week to shoot photographs on that theme. For example, the theme this week is blue. So people are shooting already lots of wonderful photographs in blue. And then the following week, on the Monday, I spend half of the time, or most of the time actually, looking at next week it'll be your blue photographs and talking about them. And you can come on the show and you can discuss them with me, and it should be fun. I'll also announce some kind of winners or favorites. I haven't quite worked out how I'm going to do it. But I will choose my favorite shots, and so will my guest or my guests. So that'll be nice, and we'll feature your shots if you're the winner. So we'll have winners every week, as it were. So there's something to play for, bit of glory, photographic glory. If you've interpreted the theme, for example, it's blue this week, in a particularly creative way. And then on Wednesday, that's today. Ta-da, today, ta-da. And it's called Webinar Wednesday. And this day, it's all about you and your photographs and how we can make them better. Now, I'm not saying that any photograph is better or worse than any other. But having said that, we want our photographs to be as good as they can. And that's what this is about. So the idea is you put a photograph in the thread of today. Let me show it to you. You'll even see me live a few seconds later or earlier. So this is on the page. Okay, so it's facebook.com/groups/creative smartphone photography. And right at the top of the page, as you can see, is me. You can't see yet, hang on. There we are. You can see me, possibly stuck. Yeah, I've got 2 things going on my computer at the same time. So there's me on this page giving this webinar. Just a few seconds beforehand. I'll get him off the screen and he doesn't mess things up. And the idea is that in this thread here that you can see, you put your photographs with a question, and I talk about it. If you want to be a guest, you come on the show, and there's even a link somewhere. If I can find it. How can I find all of these comments? 20 comments. There should be a link somewhere saying that you can come on the show. Or maybe it's hiding. All right, let me go on. There's another thread, which is the thread of the day, which is the same thing. It's just that the webinar isn't there. You have to come on the webinar thread. And here, there is a link here, and there should be a link in the other one as well, saying if you want to come on the show live, click here. And you click here, and you come into the studio, and then I'll click, and you'll be in talking to me. So that'd be good. It says, it's right at the bottom. It's about the last comment in the thread. It says, if you want to come on the show live, click here. Now, it might have disappeared in the thread you're looking at on the page with the webinar. So I'm just going to try and put it in again. Let's see what happens. Okay, so I'm learning all the time here. Right, write a comment. Yeah, it does say it there. It's right at the top. You see it? Right here, it says, if you want to come on the show live, click here. So you click there and I'll invite you on the show. And we can talk about the photographs. Let me finally say what the other live opportunity is for us to discuss photographs is Saturday. And that's called Sabinar Saturday. I'm Sab in Paris. And this is Sabinar Saturday because I'll spend the first half of the show, which will last about an hour. I'll spend the first half of the show talking about my photographs of the week. I take photographs of Paris, and I publish them every day, new photograph every day, and I'll talk about them. And after about a while doing that, and you can ask me questions, why did you do it this way, and so on. And after I've done that for a while, we'll then look at more of your photographs, more of an appreciation than a clinic. Today's more of a clinic. It's looking at your photographs and trying to fix things that you're not happy with. All right, who's watching? I've said a hello from Tinkutsa. Hello, thank you for the lovely themes. All right, you're welcome. And let's go. So we're going to launch straight into this, and you'll see how it goes. So these are your photographs that you've put in this thread, in one of these two threads. Okay, either this thread here with the actual video playing at the top. Right, that's where you should be watching it, to be honest. And I'm going to look at your photographs and I'm going to talk about them. The other thread you might have put them in is this one here, which starts with this photograph here, which is the photo of the theme photo of the day. Right, without further ado, I'm going to launch in. Come in the studio if you want, and leave comments in the comments section and on this page with the webinar playing, and I should see them. Right, the first person, is that right? Let me see if I can get to the top of these. 20 comments, and I'm not sure if it's hiding the comments that we saw before, because there were a lot of comments. I'm not quite sure how to see them. 20 comments, I want to see them. Is it playing in real time or something? It's only giving me the, okay. That's interesting. Right, well, let me go to the other one. Now, I've got 13 comments here, and I'm going to try and open them all. Right, Leanne posted a comment, and she said, she's talking about the editors she uses on this. Now, if I blow it up here, we should be able to see it. And she's talking about filters. Now, she says that she's used several editors. Her favorite is Instagram. And yeah, sure, there's quite a few filters on Instagram. And a lot of people use them. Sometimes they use them a bit indiscriminately, a bit too much sometimes. But that's part of the fun as well as Instagram. When I play with my photographs, I've always done it before I put them on Instagram. So I do play with them, but I don't use the Instagram filters normally. And she's telling us that it can be modified. You can change the intensity and the colors. And she was saying the shot's quite good thanks to good sunlight. And she used sunlight effects. Yeah, I mean, you can. Very often photographs are disappointing because they're not as bright as you remember them in real life. Not as bright, not as contrasty, not as nice, basically. So I don't think it's too cheaty to actually bring them back to what you remember in real life. And then if you want to go further and you want to make them wild and crazy and artistic, or sometimes a mess, well, you can do that as well. It's a personal choice. Okay, and she's saying, here's one of cats. Now, Leanne is a cat person, and she's saying, actually, she had a photograph with a cat, which she posted here. Now, she's a cat person. She's actually got an association down in Marseille for rescuing street cats. Wonderful thing that she does. And she's got lots of cats as well. So she was saying, here's a beautiful shot of a cat. Now, it really is lovely. I mean, you've got the background is kind of soft focus. The cat is beautifully sharp. The cat isn't looking directly at us. Very often they look straight at us, but in this case, it's looking off to the side, which is nice because that's telling a story. The cat is looking at something else. Maybe it's a bird or a mouse or some food. And also the cat's got a little bit more space to look into than behind its head. Well, no, maybe not. It's pretty central. Normally, it's a good thing to think about is that if you've got someone in a shot and they're looking, they should be looking into the space in the photograph. There should be more space in front of their eyes than behind the back of their head, unless you're playing with that idea and you're doing something different. Now, she says that in Instagram, you can play with the effects, of course, and you can add things and little hearts and and all sorts of things like that. Yes, you can. Absolutely. That's one of the fun things about smartphone photography is it's a new thing. I mean, there's standard photography, which you can do on a smartphone. And then, of course, you can play away to your heart's delight. All right. So there wasn't so much of a question as a contribution. Now, let me see what else we've got here. I'm a bit worried that we can't see all those photographs that were sent to me. I might have to do something about that. Now we've got Alice. Now let's see what Alice has given us here. Right, Alice actually came on a photo tour with me in Paris, and Alice has got a thing about lamps. And we actually went around Paris, and she took a lot of photographs of lamps, and we looked at ways of making them look really good. And I did suggest to her, you might recognize this style, this 3x3. It's kind of my style. So I suggested to her that she's got so many nice pictures of lamps. Why doesn't she put them in a grid? And that would, one lamp on its own can be okay, but it can just be kind of, well, it's a lamp, so what? But if you take several different shots, all of lamps, but all different angles and different points of view and different lighting, or possibly the same lighting, because if it's a lamp, it's probably going to be against the sky, there's a good chance, or a building, and you put them together, you've got a different sort of photograph. Let me stop blahing and show you what she's done. So she did. And I recognize some of these from our thing, actually. This is in Paris. Well, these are very typically Parisian, most of them, I think. Now, I can't so much blow them up, but I can talk slightly. For example, this one here was looking down at the bottom in the middle, was looking down a passage, which is either the narrowest road in Paris, which is actually kind of almost an alley, or the second narrowest. And it's in the Latin Quarter. And here, what I said to her was, it was like a challenge. Can you make it that there is a tiny sliver of light in between the lamp and each bit of the wall? And the others would follow as well. So there's three. There's repetition going down this sliver of light. The sliver of light is slightly off to the side, which is nice. I think that's important. Then slap bang in the middle. Because if it's slap bang in the middle and the shot's square, the danger is you've just got a lot of wasted space on either side. So it's slightly off to the side. You've got repetition. Repetition is another very important thing to make your photograph strong. There's three lamps, not just one. And that's lovely, it's really good. She's done it. There's a tiny bit of light in between each side. Here's another lamp silhouetted. There's another lamp up in the air. Now here's two lamps against a building and one lamp sticking out. Isn't it marvelous? Paris and its lamps. This one here, up in the top left, is a very strange shape. And this one's got this lovely repetition of the church bits, knobbly bits on a church, which is a very nice angle there. So that's her first grid of lamps, which I think is just great. More street lamps. She says, love the idea you gave me for putting them in groups of 9. Yeah, put them in groups of 9. If you've got a theme, well, a theme has to be several, doesn't it? So if you want to impress people, choose a theme like lamps and put like a mosaic, put them together, or a collage, put them together. It doesn't have to be a grid, of course. It could be scattered around. It could be in a row, or anything you like. And there's this kind of, each photograph is smaller than it would be if it was on its own, but there's the repetition, there's the strength in repetition. And here's her second grid, which is more colorful, isn't it? The other one's more silhouettes, and this one's more colorful. Oh, look at that bottom one in the middle. She's gone for that sliver again, tiny sliver on each side. There's something about when you're doing a lamp or something down a street against the sky, and one side of it is touching, and I think, oh, why is it touching? Why did you make it touching? It's a silhouette. Don't have it touching. I mean, unless there's a good reason to. We've got some arches here. Look, there's arches. There's water. Lovely variety. Really good. So I think she's done herself proud there with her passion for lamps. They're not all Paris, I think, but a few of them might be. Yeah, this canal certainly isn't Paris. I don't think so anyway. So thanks very much for that, Alice. That's great. Yeah, so I have got this slight worry as to where all the other photographs have gone, because I'm not seeing them all. Right, let me go back to this one. Let's see if I've got anyone saying hello. Yeah, do say hello in the comments if you like. It's the first show, so not many people know that we're here, but I think over the weeks we'll get more and more people. We're actually live on YouTube as well as Facebook, so that's exciting. So I think it'll be over the weeks and months, it'll be something really, really amazing. You'll be giving me your photographs, and I'll be talking about them. If I can't see them all in this actual live stream, then I'm going to have to take them out before I do this show and and put them somewhere else. Now I'm just wondering why I can't see all of these. It says 21 comments, and I'm not actually. It says see thread. This thread here with the actual thing, and I can't see all of these. That's me talking. Do I want that? 21 comments, and I'm not actually. That was interesting. Okay, so that actually brought my my live video out. Okay, yeah. So there's the video. It's live, and yeah, you see, I've had various people have contributed. If this isn't going to work, then what I'm going to do is go over to another thread where I know there are photographs, even if it's similar to what I talked about on Monday, and look at those, or possibly look at what's shown up in the blue theme so far. Yeah, I'll give it one more go. It says 21 comments. One more go. It's not giving me them all, and if it says see thread. Look at what's shown up in the blue, and it just gives me this thing again. Okay, all right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to the thread for the blue thing and see what you've contributed so far, and I'll cross my fingers and see if that works. This is how we learn. This is how we learn. You do something and you see what happens. So there I am live, where it's not letting me see all the photos. Yeah, okay, thanks very much. And webinar Wednesday. Right, this is the Monday theme. So let's have a look at this. It's kind of a sneak preview. I shouldn't be doing this, but I've already had some people contributing some amazing blue photographs, and I think I can look at them. So if you want to contribute your blue photographs, do. It'll be great. So this was the one I put just to start things off. Not really going to talk about my photographs today. I will on Saturday, but I found a really blue one and decided to put that up to inspire you. So there it is. And what did people do with that? Well, people started putting blue photographs in. There's something about blue. I read about blue today, that it's the world's most popular color. Everybody seems to love blue, and there's so many different sort of hues of it, and the sky's blue, isn't it? So I'm getting quite a few pictures of sky here. So let's have a look at this. It's Marie-Louise. All right, so it's a very tingy blue one, isn't it? Sometimes you've actually got the camera tinges over to blue, even bluer than you thought. You know, for example, the road there zooming into the distance, that is a sort of tinged blue, which it might not have been in real life. That's something that the camera sometimes does, and you might have to compensate for that if you don't want that tinged blue. So that's very nice. And there's a moon there as well. Did you see the moon? That is the moon, and it's on the banks of the Seine in Paris. Marvelous. This was taken on a smartphone size, with a square photograph, and again it's a bay with loads of water, and there's a plane going across, and there's a boat. So this is actually showing the limits of a smartphone, because the quality is, it's quite small. And when you're taking a huge scene, basically the world, it's not going to make it incredibly sharp, but still an impressive shot. And if you'd actually been there, I think that would be a very impressive place to be, actually, with all those skyscrapers. I don't know what skyline that is. What does she say? She doesn't say, actually. Oh, Boston. She says it's Boston. Right. Okay, let's come back. And okay, here we've got one, and it's a rainbow. So you've got interesting. You've got blue up here. You've got blue. Look at the different tones of blue. There's dark blue up in the top there, which often happens as you go higher in the sky. The blue gets darker. Almost very pale blue here. The horizon line is 2/3 of the way down. Compositionally, people say that's not a bad thing. They say it's quite good not to put the horizon line slap bang in the middle of the shot. Then you've got to wonder whether. Oh, I've got someone who's catching the live, and it's I've got Susan. I've got a Facebook user. I don't know who that is, because you need to go over to the program here. It's in the description, and do something so that it says who you are. I've got Susan. I've got a problem because I can't actually see the photographs that were submitted for today. Something has happened. I didn't take them sort of away. And unfortunately, I can't see the ones that I was going to talk about. So that's what's happening. It's the first time I'm doing it. You live and learn. I'll know for next time. And so I'm just talking about the blue submissions so far and making a few comments. I mean, this is marvelous. Imagine if you'd been there. Looks like they're on a boat, the wake of a boat, Diane, and the boat churning up the water is actually taking the water from that sort of murky, dark color to more of a deep blue, which is maybe reflecting the sky. So that's lovely, isn't it? A worthy blue photo submission. Now here's one from Maryse. And this is interesting. This is a good example of not just having one level to a photograph. Because if she'd said, look, here's a blue Christmas ball on a tree. Okay, yep, it's a Christmas ball on a tree and it's kind of blue. But the thing is, she's in it. You see, it's a self-portrait. She's hidden or trapped inside the Christmas ball, which is veering towards purple, actually, which is nice, a very deep sort of bluey purple. So that's what I look for. I look for at least two levels of meaning, two ways of reading a photograph. Otherwise, it's just a snap. And you can say, yes, very nice. But if you haven't added anything to it yourself, there's something missing. My best example of that is graffiti. So it's when you're walking through around town, you see some amazing graffiti, and you a lot of people, they take a shot of the graffiti. They really try hard to, you know, line it up perfectly and get it just in and fit it in and stuff. They go home and they've got a photograph of somebody else's graffiti. Great, but it's not their work. It's the graffiti artist's work. As a photographer, unless you just want a record of it, which is okay, but if you want to be a creative photographer, you've got to do something with that graffiti. You've got to take it from a strange angle. You've got to add something, someone running across it as a blur, something in the foreground. I often take self-portraits in my self-portrait series, which is one every 10 days, where I interact with something behind me, especially posters on the wall. I'll maybe show you a few in a while because I can't access all the questions that you asked me. All right, so there's that. All right, so there's a ball. We're looking at Maurice's ball, Christmas ball. And now here's an amazing one. Susan has submitted this, and it's really, I was looking forward to discussing this next Monday. I probably will, but now I can do it now. It's amazing. And I thought, how on earth has she got a blue shadow of a guitar? Because you would think if there's a shadow, it would be, well, it is darker, but why is it blue? You would think it would be blocking the light, wouldn't you? Not turning the page blue. But I had a theory, and then she sent me this second photograph, and I saw what was going on. And my theory was kind of right. There's actually a big blue light projecting all over the scene, including onto the paper. But there's also a bright white light, which is illuminating the paper, as well as the blue light, and it's dominating the blue light. So you can't see the blue light, except where the guitar is in the way of the bright white light, and all you can see, but it's not in the way of the blue light. So you've got a blue shadow. It's amazing, really good. I like that a lot. Very, very good. Now, this is good as well because you've got a kind of symbolism here. You've got a piece of sheet music, that's fine, but you wouldn't take a photograph of a piece of sheet music. You need something else. What does sheet music do? How can you relate it to what it's for, its purpose in life? And its purpose in life is to help a musician play. You could have the musician in the shot as well, but then it would still be a kind of, here's a musician playing music, reading it off a sheet. What makes this photograph more interesting than that, more interesting than the one you can see here, is that you can't see the musician, but you can see their instrument. That is getting interesting, more interesting than just the musician. You've got the musician playing the instrument, you've got to do something else. It's not that they're not going to be interesting, but you've got to watch out for literal shots of, that's what I saw, and you haven't added anything artistically, and you creating something new, which is what Susan has done here. That's what I'm looking for. That's what I'm looking for. That sort of eye. You see, it's the eye. She had to have an eye, the photographer's eye, or something in her head saying, you know what? Why don't I not take the musician? And you have to realize that you can do this. Not everyone would realize that. I'll just take the sheet music with the shadow. You have to dare to do it, to know that it's an option, and then do it. Thanks for contributing that, Susan. Great. And let's carry on down the blue theme. I hope that I get more blue photographs for Monday, or I won't have anything to say, or I have to say the same thing again. And you can tune in after half an hour. Okay, Tin Kutsa says, interesting tip about the horizon line. It's a pretty standard tip. It's one of those rules that you can break if you want sometimes, but if you don't know the rule, you don't break it intelligently, if you see what I mean. So the rule to know is, if you put something in the middle of a shot, either horizontally or vertically right in the middle, like a person's face right in the middle, it's not always as interesting as if you put them off to the side. So they're playing with the frame, you know. You could have a big frame like that, and they're looking up. You can just see their eyes looking up into a space. So basically anything except putting the subject in the middle of the shot is normally more interesting. That's a kind of general rule of thumb. I like breaking rules, but I do believe it's useful to know the rule so you can break it intelligently. Next, this is Susan again, right? Susan submitted her maximum of 3, I think. This got a lot of love here, actually. And it's a scene which is, again, seems to be tinged blue, except for this wall, which is a lovely orangey beige color. And the boat does seem blue, doesn't it? I'm not sure if it's blue because it's actually a blue boat, or because it's in the shadow, and shadow light is often bluer than sunlight. Shadows will often look blue in photographs, even though not to the naked eye. There's a kind of color shift there. So it's probably a mixture of both. It's a cute little boat. It's off to the left, you notice. Over the weeks and months, you'll hear me repeating the same things so often, but in different ways, in relationship to different photographs, that you'll be saying it before I even say it, or you'll be saying it because you'll be on the show. So, let me just say that Susan is watching from Walla Walla. Walla Walla is Washington, USA. Really? I thought Walla Walla was in Australia. It sounds like it should be in Australia. Are you sure you're not in Australia? Anyway, you can tell me if you like. Are you really in Australia? Since when has Walla Walla been in the US? What do I know? I don't know anything. So this is it's packed with blue, actually. It's a big solid, tons of blue. It's not a simple shot. Because of the building is quite complicated. You've got angles this way, you've got angles this way. I like the way the wall is coming out towards us. It gives the image depth. The wall leads in, and then the wall of the house continues to go away from us. So we're getting quite a lot of depth like that, you see. You've got the boat tucked away on the left, which is nice. The boat on the left is echoed by a boat on the water. I was going to say a real boat, but they're both real boats, but one is tucked away sheltering from the storm, maybe, and the other one on the right is out there, except there isn't a storm. And it's a beautiful day, and it's not just a blue sky. Blue sky on its own would be rather boring, but you've got a beautiful cloud bank which has contrast in it. It's not just a lump of white. It's a beautifully contrasty cloud bank there. And I think that's all I've got to say about that one. There was another one in this thread. Again, is it? Oh, here. This is from Yaru in Peru. And she says, sunrise in Châtel, France. So she was in France, and this was sunrise in France. It is the dawn in Châtelet. I know that she doesn't really speak English, so she's translated this either from French or Castellano. It's dawn in Châtel. I woke up very early, and this landscape with a blue tone surprised me. Love this place. It looks absolutely gorgeous. And this swimming pool in the mountains with a beautiful chalet behind it. Okay, well, yeah, I'm jealous. That's gorgeous, isn't it? And it is tinged blue. Again, it might be before the sun has come up, and the light does veer towards blue, especially in shadows when it's not in sunlight. So it's there's a definite big blue tone to that. All right, let's carry on. Do ask questions if you like. Yep, Walla Walla is in the USA, Susan says. Well, look, I'm not going to Google it in front of you. You know, I don't want to embarrass you, but it's probably in Australia. Since when has the USA had double-barreled names with New York, New York, I guess. I lived in Australia for a year, and I know they have some names which are double names with, I don't know, Bongawaloo, or something like that. Some strange names anyway, with lots of W's and O's. All right, this is from Romain. Now, Romain got me going here because he posted this. And I thought, hey, that's my territory, that is. He's in Paris. He's at the Concorde metro station. And it's right what he says. Passed by the Station Concorde on line 12 of the Paris metro. And I took the opportunity to capture a part of the wall, all tiled in blue lettering, except for the station name. One of my favourite stations, always captivating to see all these letters. It is. It's like being in the middle, drowning in a big Scrabble board or something. I often take pictures of this as well. So he says, I touched it up a bit in Snapseed. Snapseed is a very popular application for playing with the photographs. You can use it to be artistic, or you can just use it to make it a bit brighter and a bit more like it was in reality. Sometimes you need to do that. And then you decide if you want to leave it where people would say, not think that it's been played with, or if you decide you're going to take some artistic liberty and decide to go further. And then it stops being like reality as such. And then it's a question of whether people like the effect that you've used or not. Personally, my personal photographic philosophy over the years, I've come to something which is kind of my thing now. It's not good, it's not bad, it's not better, it's not worse, it's not to be liked or not liked. It's just what I've come to. And I recommend you do the same thing. Move towards something that you like and don't apologize for it. Don't, find your thing. If you like it, do it. That's it. So what I do is my photographic objective with my theme for basically my life, it seems, is going into Paris, getting out at any random metro station or not, going somewhere specific if there's something I want to photograph, and wandering around and seeing what the city offers me. And it always offers me something. The Eiffel Tower is my muse, and I'm always offered more than I expect. And it's not, I don't expect anything because I don't know what's going to happen, and stuff comes to me. I can wander around. The other day, I decided to walk back across the river instead of taking the metro across the river. And in that time, I got about between 15 and 20 shots, which I can now use, which are worthy in my mind to be used in my daily Paris photo chronicles. So my aim is to produce images which are halfway between grim reality and some sort of abstract fantasy. They're normally more towards grim reality. You see what the subject is, but I play with them and I make no excuses. That's just what I do. It's what I seem to do. And if people like them, excellent. And if they hate them, that's actually quite good because I've stirred some emotion. If they are not swayed one way or the other, that's as close to failure as I would get, I think, not actually touching someone with my stuff. But then I say to myself, that's not a problem either, because why should they like the same things as I do? Unless they're a completely insensitive, unartistic, rude word, and then that's their problem, isn't it? Right, so this guy, Romain, made me scuttle off to my recent collection because I've done that too, me too. And here's one. You see, it's the same thing. No, it's not on tiles. It was on a board. I think it was on a temporary board of a station that was being done up. And it's covered in these paint drops and stuff. And then I played with it, got this angle. You see this angle goes zoom, like this. I'll do it. How can I do it? Yeah, I'm backwards in the... Goes like that. And then down in the bottom corner, you've got this contrasting angle with the blue and the green. I really like it. I like it. I say that I like it as a photograph, not because I took it. I just love looking at it. And then I carefully frame the word. You know, like I said earlier, it bugs me when a lamp, which is silhouetted against the sky in a passage, touches the edge. Well, it bugs me. I take a ridiculous amount of time playing with the space between letters and the edge of the frame. The edge of the frame is an important, a vital compositional element. You know, it's the edge of the picture, but it's not fixed. You know, you move the camera and the edge of the picture is moving in relationship to the subject, what's in your, you know, viewfinder. So it's important. You know, it's important. I often see photographs where that isn't important for the person, or they don't realize it's a consideration, and they've, you know, I could have chopped it here, like it would have touched the edge there, for example. That would have bugged me. And also, this goes into the distance. You'll notice that apart from the top of this L, which is dangerously close to the top frame, if not touching, the entire word is in the shot, and that's important. But you've got enough space in the bottom corner to have this lovely line, and then the lines contrasting to it. You know, angles are only angles when they're in contrast to something else that makes them an angle. And that's what I look for all the time. Angles, angles, angles. And my other one that I was inspired to post in as a sort of riposte to Romain's excellent shot of Concorde, where he filled the frame, which is good, he filled the frame, and I filled the frame here. I filled it so much that you can't even know what the name of the station is if you don't know Paris. Or if you half know it, it might be intriguing. There's a kind of a game element there. You know, oh God, what station is that? Oh. I won't tell you. You can ask if you like, but I won't tell you. That's not fun, is it? All right, we're talking in the chat. Susan is talking about the fascinating topic of Walla Walla. Of course, I believe you that it's in the States. I'm only joking. Southeast corner of Washington, famous for our Walla Walla sweet onions and our wine. No, never heard of it. Apparently, there's a Walla Walla in New South Wales, Australia. Hello. Am I crazy? No. I know there's one in Australia, but I live in, you know, the states have stolen most of their names. I mean, there's like, New Albany or something. There's an Albany in Britain. New York, well, there's a York in England. Australia, you know, capital of Western Australia, Perth. It's in Scotland, actually. I was born in Scotland, so I thought it was, at least they didn't call it New Perth. That's something, I suppose. I live in the one in the States, which was heretofore, that's a good word, heretofore unknown to Sab. You learn something new every day. I learn a lot new every day. All right, here we go. So this has gone completely off track. As I was saying, for those of you who have just joined or have forgotten, I was telling you that today is supposed to be the day when I show you, we do a masterclass on photos that you've sent in for analysis, and you did. And I discovered that I can't access your questions or the photographs. This is how you learn, isn't it? I was in Tim Kutzer's group, I think, where she has a group for creative entrepreneurs who want to be healthy and sometimes lose weight. And her prompt for the day was, what's your tip for getting things done, or for, you know, not having a lack of confidence? And I said, no, or maybe it was in another group. Anyway, I just said, just do it. It's, you know, it's completely banal and cliched. And yet, how do you get confidence about something until you do it? You can't get the confidence until you've tried and you've seen what works and what doesn't. So a lot of people will give you, you know, ways of building up confidence to do something. But I don't think it works like that. You can do anything, you can do a million things to try and get confidence in something that you haven't done yet, but that won't change much because you don't know what's going to happen. So in terms of photography, you can plan routes. You can, you know, decide, I'm going to go there and take photographs of that. And then my best photographs are never planned. I'll get off at a random metro station or a random place, wander around, and I'll get those 15 shots that I'm amazed by. And not a single one of them did I have in my mind before I went out. So there's my little ramble on. I just realised you were looking at that thing all the time instead of seeing me gesticulating. All right, this is another thing I'm learning. My funky application here. So when you're feeling brave, I know Tinkutsu, you came on the show on Monday, so you probably don't want to come on again. Susan, you can come on if you like. If you say that you want to come on, I'll bring you on. There's a link in the chat of where you're watching this video. If you click on that, you actually come into the studio and you can talk to me live, and that'd be fun, wouldn't it? She says, according to Native American law, Walla Walla means the land of many waters, since there are many underground springs. We also say it's the town. So nice, they named it twice. Yeah, there's a song of New York, isn't it, like that? That's great. Really interesting. Land of many waters. Yeah, it's definitely Aboriginal or Native American type of a ring to it. All right, let me carry on with these photographs. improvising, because I'm just going to go back and see if I could see any of those photographs that some of you asked for. 25 comments. I don't know why I can't see all of the photographs that everyone sent in to me. It's just not showing. What am I doing wrong? Okay, sorry. I'll let you see what I'm doing wrong. Okay, so this is the place where the video is live. Okay, that's me live, and it says 25 comments, and I would think I would click there and see them, but it won't let me. And I'm gonna this other one here. It just doesn't let me see them. Open in a new tab, see what happens there. Modern technology. This is actually an amazing program that I have, but it's broadcasting live on YouTube as well as. So here's the same thing again, and it's only letting me see three or four comments. It says there's 28. There are. Anyway, let me see them. So I'm not going to carry on doing that anymore. Let's go back into the blue thing. Is there any more blue thing? Yeah, it's further down here. You can always post a photograph right now in the chat. Maybe I'll see it. Okay, you could try that. Okay, so we'll go back down to the end of the blue thing. We're coming up to the hour, actually, so this will have been okay. For the 2 or 3 of you who've been watching, thanks a lot. I hope it's interesting. You can see where it's going with this. As over the weeks and months, we'll get tighter. There'll be less cock-ups, and there'll be more interaction, and it'll get nice and tight. For the moment, I'm just playing around, seeing what happens. And thanks for coming on and watching and stuff. Right, here's another blue one. 2/3 blue, 1/3 green. Statue in the middle. Interesting. Yep. Blue and green together, it's pure nature, isn't it? You can't get more nature than green and blue. And there's an interesting statue in the middle. So, and Leanne actually wrote a poem to go with this. Leanne is German, I think. Oh God, I hope she is. German, and she's living in the south of France. And she wrote, inspired by this, I guess, lost in epiphany, haunting the ancestors' nightmare. Trap it, wrap it up, send it to Santa, early Christmas treat. Collect your frozen tears and take them out at night when you can't sleep. Breathing the love, exhaling sunlight. Beautiful. Beautiful. There's something with colors. You can just literally drown in colors. It's like those paintings by, Klein blue. He actually invented a blue. I mean, you don't invent a color, but he found a blue that he loved and painted entire blocks. Like there's this famous one in the Pompidou Center at Beaubourg in Paris. When it's on display, I mean, you're walking along, you say, oh, look, someone's painted a board blue and put it on the wall. And yet, if you stand in front of it and it kind of fills your field of vision up and down, because it's big and square, I think, you sort of end up, entering into the blue in a way. And it's pretty stunning. It's this gorgeous, deep, sort of almost aquamarine, a bit like the blues you're starting to get up here in the top left. And you sort of you almost go into a trance. It's like my mother. She loves going into the gallery rooms. I think it's now at the Tate Modern in London. Oh God, who's the name of that person? Rothko? Is it Rothko? And he's just got these huge panels which cover the entire wall, and they've just got this sort of. I was going to describe it as a sort of zhuzh of color. You know, it's like a sort of soft hum of color, and she just sat there and just sat there and sort of let the painting happen to her. And you can do that with images as well. You can do it with texture. Sometimes I'll find a door which has got such a beautiful texture. I just want to look at it, and that's it. You know, just there's no reason. You can't say why it's beautiful or why you love it, but why do we love anything? You know, why do you love any piece of music? It's not better than any others, and somebody who doesn't like it isn't wrong. It's just one of those things. And with photography, if you get away from the subject and you just go for the color, it can just, you know, take you over. So that's another way of looking at photographs. You don't have to say, yes, but what's the subject, or the angle on that's a bit strange. You know, if you like the color, look at the color and enjoy it. Here's a mega blue one from Roma. Is it from Roma? Yeah. This photo was taken at Legoland. God, I haven't been there. I'd love to go there. I met this guy once. A friend of mine came over with her husband, and it was the husband that ended up talking to me most of the time. And actually, she's in this group. She's called Catherine, and her husband has got a sort of hobby that has started to take over his entire life, and he's getting more money for that than for his real job, and he's going to give up his real job, I think. And he builds on commission models in Lego of famous buildings in towns, like the town hall, or, you know, a stunning building. He'll do it in Lego, and he'll get paid probably thousands for it. And he has to invest like $10,000 just in the Lego bricks for a new piece. Can you imagine? Anyway, look, it's the Eiffel Tower. Why is it blue though? You know, why is everything looking blue? That's not normal. Is it really all blue? Or is it a trick of the light? Or is it something that happens on the camera, which actually isn't necessarily what you want? Sometimes that happens. You get a blue cast, you'd call it, or even an orange cast. You know, it's like you're in a bar, you take a photograph under a certain light, you get home and everyone's orange. You either think, cool, it gives it a sort of romantic light, or it's too orange and everyone is bright orange, you know, like Donald Trump. And you think, nah, I don't actually want everyone to be quite so orange as that. And then you'll go into some program and you'll de-orangify it a little bit. And I've got a feeling that's what's happened here, because, you know, it can't be that blue. You know, even the trees here are starting to look a bit blue. So it's blue, and it's totally valid for the competition. But I'm just saying, I think it's got a pretty heavy blue cast on it. And we're coming up to the last 10 minutes, and it will be the last 10 minutes. If you want to say anything to me, you better do it now. Thanks for the show, Tinkutsa says, maybe you can only see the comments in real time. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. It's weird though, isn't it? Because I thought it'd be great. Get all the comments throughout the week, and then I could just read the comments. But if I go to the show thing, you know, I don't know if I'm not seeing the comments in real time. I'm just going to go to the main group again and see if that comment that you've just made has shown up. That'll tell us, won't it? That'll tell us. In the meantime, I'm going to look at this photograph, which is a photograph from Ingrid. Ingrid is in France, and she says, this afternoon in a place that I love, and I go to, in French they say, se ressourcer, like get your resources back, recharge. It's funny, she says, I was warmed up by the blue contrasting with the autumn tones. Yeah, look at that. I mean, when I was a kid, I went through two color phases. The first one was blue and orange. Everything was blue and orange in my life. You know, my bedroom was blue walls, orange duvet cover or whatever. And the other one was, can you guess? I'll tell you at the end if I don't forget. Two similar colors, I mean, not the same. And blue and orange together is gorgeous. And they're actually, I think they're opposite each other on the color spectrum, which helps. And Blue and orange is lovely, isn't it? Absolutely lovely. And the sunlight is there. If the sunlight wasn't there, you wouldn't have the trees lit up so brightly and the leaves, but there is the sunlight. There's almost a diagonal feel to it. I might be doing diagonal the wrong way, but there's almost a diagonal feel to it as well. Down here, for some reason, it seems denser on the bottom right triangle and lighter and more bluey on the top left, which is nice because you haven't really got a subject as such. Subjects, I think I was going to talk about subjects today and never got around to it. But, you know, starting somewhere, you can't really say there's a subject as such. It's all trees against a sky. That's another story for another time. It's a lovely shot. Yeah, nature, pure nature. So did this come? I'm looking at the other window. So this is where I'm playing the video. I was looking, there we are. And do I have any comments in real time? Yes, we do, you see, Tinkutsa, but I've only got 4. So I've got Tinkutsa saying maybe you can only see comments in real time. Susan says, according to Native American lore, Walla Walla means, no, I've read that already. Oh, here we go. Thanks for the show. As a former educator, I used to remind my students that there are no failures, just opportunities to learn. It's fun to be on the ground floor of your new adventure. It's fun to have you here. It's fun to be doing it. Yeah, I mean, I'm a former educator. Well, I'm not a former educator. I'm a former English teacher of many years and of kids and adults. And I do still do it from time to time. And I do this sort of thing. It's very much more casual. But yeah, I mean, failure is a word I have eradicated from my vocabulary. And the flip side of that is success, isn't it? You'd say, well, have you therefore eradicated success as well? So I get that. I get the logic of it, but no. But I only talk about success because you can say that success is you try something and you like the result. And the opposite of success is learning. I think that's a nice way of looking at it. So the opposite of success isn't the F word for me anymore. It's the L word. Okay, you either succeed in getting the result you wanted, or you succeed in learning something new. Because to be honest, if you succeed and you try to do something, you succeed, you haven't necessarily learned as much as if you don't get the result that you expect. And photography is all about that. Go out there and experiment. You know, I mean, the very first thing I did about many years ago was take a roll of film, go to the park and shoot daffodils. You know, turning the dial, shoot again, turn again, shoot again. Back in the day when you clicked the button, you paid. So I had a whole bunch of daffodils, but I learned. If I hadn't done it for myself, I could have read the book, but it wouldn't have been as meaningful as when I got that pack and opened it from the photo processor with trembling hands to see what my daffodil photographs were going to be like. Oh my God, look. And then I said, yeah, the daffodil's sharp and so is the background. And then the next one, the daffodil's sharp and the background's not so sharp. And then the next one, the daffodil's sharp and the background's fuzzy. I understand depth of field. It was a beautiful moment. I think we're at the end. So that was what it was. What have we got? Susan is saying, I taught 11 to 12-year-olds reading and writing. Now I teach adults water aerobics. Still teaching. Yeah, well, I mean, as long as you're not getting too many drowning, then I suppose you're doing okay. Yeah, teaching is a wonderful thing, isn't it? Yeah. I've got this theory about teaching, and that is that the teaching I like is more about asking questions than telling people stuff. But in a situation where nobody's there to really ask questions to, or it's difficult to have the interaction, then you've got to do some blah blah. But true learning, I think, true teaching is learning, isn't it? By asking questions, and then you learn about them as well. You learn. I mean, as soon as you tell someone something, you've lost the opportunity to learn from their point of view. Anyway, that's me going off on one as usual. I did want to say, Susan, isn't it you who has got I didn't even know it existed, the iPhone Pro Maxi Mega Super Duper 3-lens India trip thing? If it is, make sure you show us what you're doing with it in the appropriate thread. I'd love to see those results. And just finish off with, this is new. Alice has contributed. Actually, it looks like a lot of people contributed. I haven't even seen these. These two little bells. No, there isn't actually enough time for this. I'm going to stop at an hour. Respect your time. Now, these will be talked about later, perhaps, on Saturday. So here's the plan for the next while. So Mondays, Mystery Monday, I give you the theme. This week it's blue. Look for the blue theme. And please contribute shots which you have taken under the blue theme. Ideally, you take them after the theme has been presented so that you're actually going out there and doing something. Exceptionally, if you have a shot which fits the theme, you want to show it, great. But, if you can, shoot a new shot under the theme each week. It gets you out there, gets you experimenting, seeing what happens, like I said. And then on the Wednesday, that's this. It'll be analysing your questions and photographs. I mean, I've got a lot to do next week, basically, because I didn't do them this week. And I've got another comment coming in thick and fast. Susan doesn't know how easily she'll be able to contribute in India. Don't worry about it, but I mean, stock them up and then you can share them when you get back. God, that's going to be so exciting. Hope you don't get Delhi belly. And on the Saturday coming up, it's in 3 days. If for some reason you want to hear me talking about my photographs, I'll do it on Saturday. Let's say I'll take about half an hour to talk about the photographs that I've taken in that week. So I'll limit it to my 7 latest photographs. I normally don't describe them, but I thought, well, I'd love to. I'd like talking about photographs. Maybe people will find them interesting. My current project started on the 1st of January 2018, so last year. It's coming up to 2 years. It's on the theme of 9s. I put 9 photographs into a grid of 9, and I call them a chapter. Then I put 9 chapters together, and that's 81 photographs. I call it a book. And then I could show you, but I don't have time. I'll talk about that on Saturday. Then I put 9 books together. That's a volume. I'm just finishing my first volume. 729 photographs, 1 per day for 2 years, finishing on the 30th of December. And my biggest challenge in my entire life, creative life, will be doing 9 of those. I've done the math. I think I'll still be alive after 6,561 photographs in a row. Can you believe it? So that's me. If you want to follow this life journey with me, I'd love you to be with me on the journey, and I'll be with you on yours as well. We're coming up to 1 hour. Thank you for watching. If you're watching the replay, thank you for watching the replay. Bit of a mishmash and a bit of a cock up, to be honest, but I did it, and that's what's happened. And I think it was okay. And you see what's going on. You see how it works. It'll only get better. Well, the show might. I won't. I'll just be the same each week. And if you want to invite people to the group, then invite them by telling them to go to the page and clicking on join. Don't just invite them directly, which you can do. Don't do that. Get them to click on the join button. Then they see a question that I ask them about, photography, one question, and they agree to the group rules. So do it that way. Do encourage people to come. The more the merrier. I think this group will be amazing. Thanks for being here in the first week. You are the founder members. I won't forget you. And see you on Saturday maybe, or next week. Get out there and shoot. Parisians, in my case. See you next week. Bye for now.